It seemed like you were referring to trying to get police there as
I
well.
have had numerous conversations, and you can appreciate the fact as a candidate, I have no authority to sit with the chief, to sit with any of the safety director, and ask them to be part of this, and I won't. People need to know that it starts at the top, and if they support me, my chief police, my safety director, will be on a regular basis in the neighborhoods. We will meet, and they will understand. We'll do another event next year. We will definitely do another event. This is not a political trick. This is what we need to do to move this community forward. And this has to be the start, and then we will continue to refine this process. I've talked to enough policemen and enough firemen who care about the city, who love the city. And at the end of the day, they don't have a voice. Nobody wants to listen in government. The administration does what it wants to do, devoid of what the public needs. That's going to end. It's going to end.
You had referred to saying you're going to have people like choirs get together. You said, we're going to sing each other's music. Who is each other here?
East Side music, gospel music, West Side gospel music, all right? There are different hymns, as I've been into the different congregations, that are sung. And so some people, some groups, have a tendency to sing a lot of the same. So we're going to take that contemporary music over on this side of town that they choose as their music to the west side of town. We're going to exchange it, all right? 4 songs each that'll be used throughout the event. And you'll see when you bring people together, even though they haven't sung together in the past, that off of that same sheet of music, you're going to make tremendous harmony.
So you're anticipating a racially diverse crowd?
Oh, totally. Racially diverse. I mean, this is Cleveland. This is Cleveland. I mean, I want everybody. I want Italians and Irish. And this is Cleveland. This is not just an urban crowd. This is Cleveland. I want everybody in the city to come together. There's no reason we can't. We need to. We have to stop the divide. We can bring each other together to work together.
We have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
What's the plan to make the city a more proactive town rather than reactive? Ever since, like, if crime happened, we're quick to react. How do we become more proactive to prevent those things?
Politicians, by and large, are just, and I shouldn't say just, because there are a lot of people well-intended with good hearts, but political parties have a tendency to work with each other. And so typically what you see are politicians that are firemen in a suit. They show up when there's a problem. They're there. They're there to take care of the problem. But being proactive or having a plan is really not part of a plan. Because if it is, it's delegated to somebody else, it's forgotten about, and then you don't hear anything until there's a problem again. We're going to be proactive. We're going to set plans, we're going to have agendas, we're going to work together. I am not a passive CEO. That has gotten me nowhere. I watched people like that in my life. I've worked with people that have been passive and helped them turn around their companies. You have to be active. You're either in the game or you're out of the game. You want to get out, you get out. But if you're in it, you got to be in it to win it, and you have to be in it 24/7.
The mayor arguably has the endorsements of many established ministerial groups.
Yes.
And very familiar faces in the clergy. Can you speak to that?
Sure, sure. And what I would say to the familiar faces, and to the mayor, and to the residents, how's it all worked out for you? How's it worked out for you the last 8 years? Crime, we're in the top 10 list in the country. Education, we're at the bottom of the rung. And poverty keeps going up. So you can keep doing what you're doing and go down that path, or you can do something different and get a different result. The pastors that I'm speaking to are the pastors that have had enough. Had enough. Their leader has been around for 12 years in a position of authority. And after 12 years, things are worse today than they were when he came in as mayor in 2006. Now, that's not smack, that's just the numbers. I don't make them up, I just report it, just like the reporters do. So as people have come to realize that those facts are not put into evidence, they say, wow, enough's enough. We have to do something different. We need a plan, because we can't keep doing what we're doing. That's what I would say.
Lousy results.
Yes, sir, Art McCoy Radio Show. I have a question for you. Just today in the news, they talked about systemic failure from the top concerning the police department and the fire department. And from this systemic failure, it seems like that the police are not able to manage crime properly in the city. It seems like from the fire department is not able to manage themselves properly in the city. And the paper states that it seems like systemic failure from the top is the problem. What is your comment on that?
I mean, the Attorney General, Mike DeWine, said systemic failure about 137 shots. I've read depositions of the officers, I've read his report, and I can tell you that I agree with him. I agree with Prosecutor McGinney. It is a systemic failure. It is the responsibility of the administration. If the administration is not going to hold the chief responsible, then it's their responsibility. At the end of the day, that can never happen again. But as I've told activists, they won't be marching on the steps of City Hall anymore. They're going to have a voice, and they're going to have an office at City Hall. We have to work together. And so the administration that's there is not going to be my administration by and large. I mean, everybody will get a shot. Obviously, the usual suspects that people, have seen, haven't done the job, won't be there. But people that will be there will have the same heart, will be a public servant, because if they're not a public servant, they can't join the team. It's that simple.
I wanted to ask you about 137 shots because it's not come up. You said that you've read the depositions of the officers, and you'd mentioned saying that you agree with the conclusion there was a systemic failure at the top. A lot of folks in the community have also been waiting to hear about charges against the officers involved and hoping that there will be some kind of legal action. Do you believe that the officers involved bear some responsibility for what happened?
I believe that the report clearly states the systemic failure that was there, and the prosecutor is happy with the job that was done by the Attorney General. I don't believe, whether I believe that there's an issue, the facts that are in evidence, based on the way I've read them and my understanding, is that the officers that were there should never have been there, in the numbers that they were, and as a result, the situation that ensued became one of those situations where you have to be there in order to understand and make that decision as to how that happened. And when you have a vehicle surrounded by police officers all firing at the same vehicle, they thought they were in a gun battle, but they were firing at each other. Now, again, not my call. I don't have a dog in that hunt, and I feel terrible for what's happened. But I can tell you that would never happen again under my administration. There's a protocol, and there's responsibility. We have a very sophisticated system here, all right? But like any computer system, you put junk in, you get junk out. It's how you handle the information you get, and that's where the failure was.
I know that Mayor Jackson, has said that police chief, safety director are going to stay where they are, and they're going to bring the pressure to bear on the officers who were involved, and they've been putting them through administrative hearings. If you were in the mayor's seat, you've got to make a call as to where do you bring that accountability on the people who are underneath you. Would you, as mayor, bring that pressure on the officers involved? Would you focus solely on the supervisors or on the police
Well,
leadership?
here, I can tell you, there is so much information that I've read, but there's so much information that I don't have, so I really can't comment. All I can tell you is that that situation can never happen again.
But given the number of issues that have come up recently, both in the fire department and in the police department, I mean, do you believe that the police chief and the safety director should continue in their positions?
The fact that they're only gonna have 4 or 5 more months, I would terminate them both. If I were in position of mayor today and they were in my administration, I'd terminate them both. Absolutely, I would. I think that they failed. And for a number of reasons. I mean, that's not the only reason. I mean, things are out of control. You know, you have, whether it's the fire department or the police department, I've talked to enough police officers to know that there is absolutely no cohesiveness within the department. You have pockets where you have great leaders, all right, within the forces, but you don't have everybody looking in the same direction, all right, pulling together. I've been into a number of the firehouses to see the equipment to meet the firefighters. I have to tell you, the equipment, we have a lot of bad equipment. We have a lot of equipment that doesn't function. We have no budget for any new equipment for the next 3 years. I mean, this is a city. This is not somebody's residence. This has to be here for another 100 years. It was here 100 years ago. It'll be here 100 years from now after us. We have to plan for that. We have to find the ways to plan for the future and solve the problems that we have today. And that can be done.